You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rudrance for Black and White Sports. Well, we're going to talk about the 49ers, Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan, and one unemployed Bomani Jones. Bomani Jones, for crying out loud. You want to talk about privilege? How many different shows did they try for you at ESPN and HBO and every other place, and they just kept failing, and they kept giving you shows after shows after show? What kind of privilege is that? Because the ratings on everything you've ever touched effing stinks, Bomani Jones, but that's neither here nor there. I'm sure you're a QB expert at this point, right? Question mark? Now, I'm going to preface this by saying, lifelong 49ers fan, I hated the fact the Niners traded up for a quarterback. I hated the trade from the very get-go, and I said, my God, this is going to be horrible. Then there was whisperings about Mac Jones. Okay, if you're going to draft a quarterback, Mac Jones and Kyle Shanahan seemed to be like a pretty good pair. And instead, John Lynch, Adam Peters, and my guess would be one Jed York, talked him into Trey Lance? I'm like, who? Who? Somebody that consumes college football all the time and pays attention to the draft and the players and the Trey Lance, who? And I went and looked, and I'm like, you can't draft a guy that's barely played a year's worth of college football. But they did. It was a terrible draft pick to begin with. I'd be the first to tell you, if they weren't winning games, and I mean a hell of a lot of games, everybody would be fired. John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, Adam Peters, it would be a dumpster fire, and they would all be rolled out. But hey, all they do is win, and Kyle Shanahan, as seen yesterday, can take a guy like Brock Purdy and drop 30 in Pittsburgh on the Steelers. Of course, Kyle Shanahan is not losing his job. So, Bomani Jones has decided that Bomani Jones and the media is trying to say Brock Purdy's success is about white privilege. Wait, what? Look, I've said before and I'll say it again, Brock Purdy should have probably been drafted a lot higher, and I think it's made some teams pay attention to how they're going to draft quarterbacks again, because all you got to do is look at a guy in Las Vegas right now, Aiden O'Connell, who's sitting on the bench behind Jimmy Garoppolo, and guess what? That kid who played a lot of football in college is going to end up being a starting quarterback, and he was drafted in the 4th round. He's going to be a good one. What did he do? Played a lot of games, won a lot of games, good completion percentage. Does anybody remember the Bill Parcells rules of drafting quarterbacks? That's basically all Kyle Shanahan did in taking a flyer with Brock Purdy. My God, the success of Brock Purdy is about white privilege. It's one of the most absurd things I've ever seen. But Trey Lance, the Trey Lance truthers out there, they have been banging this racial drum for 2 years. That Trey Lance can't play dead. Okay? He can't. I've seen every snap that kid has ever... Look, they knew in training camp the year they drafted him. They got him into camp and was like, oh shit. His arm is not as strong as we thought it was, and he's not fast. The supposed dual threat quarterback can't run. Okay, in much of the same way as you saw Baker Mayfield go from college to the pros and Johnny Manziel go from college to the pros, and they were fast in college but got to the NFL, and you found out that everybody that on defense could catch both of them. Same thing for Trey Lance. I can't believe I'm even having to make a video on this. This is nuts. Outkick. The San Francisco Gate posted an article Monday using cherry-picked data to warn the NFL teams would rather lose with a white quarterback than win with a black quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, anyone. People are writing this article in a day and time in which Deshaun Watson had 25 civil lawsuits from women alleging sexual misconduct, and he got traded to the Browns and received a $230 million fully guaranteed contract, and you're trying to tell me the NFL is racist. You are a bunch of morons. Last time I checked, Deshaun Watson can't get any more black. I'm just keeping it real. Stop it with this nonsense. I mean, this wokeness has made people complete idiots. They are performing gold medal style mental gymnastics at this point to try to make a point about race. It's nuts. It's nuts. The author primarily focused the 49ers, naming the undefeated Brock Purdy, undefeated, who is white, the starter, over Trey Lance, who is black. Wow. What proof of racial bias did the author cite? Unfortunately, he didn't cite any. Imagine that. He couldn't find any. Imagine that. So he quoted former TV and radio host Bomani Jones? Are you kidding me? A heavyweight champion of race baiters. I mean, my God. Quote, the black quarterback level of this is the lack of patience. Bomani Jones said of Lance and coach Kyle Shanahan, this is a Super Bowl winning, win-now roster, win-now team. Does he have the ability to roll a quarterback out there and fail for 2 seasons? No, he doesn't. Of course he doesn't. And there's not a Niners fan that should want him to do it. If you want a ring, if you want the 6th ring. And I don't necessarily mean that from Shanahan. I mean from the fans. Are you kidding? I'm going to be real. Half the 49ers fan base is the problem because they thought that turd, that stinker, Trey Lance, could ever play. I knew before they drafted him it was a disaster. He could not play ball. Hey, Lance stinks. You've seen him play like 3 games. Like, I am amazed at how certain they are that after he stinks, after seeing him play 3 games, and how certain they are that Purdy is awesome. Guess what? He has stunk in practices for 3 years. And they still decided to try to let him win the job last year. This should tell you. They went and saw him play against Houston last year and called up Jimmy Garoppolo because Shanahan and Lynch knew he couldn't play and said, oh, shit. They were trying to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo and called him back and re-signed him because they have a Super Bowl roster, and they were like, yeah, we're going to give Lance a few games, but we need Jimmy in case this goes the way we think it's going to go. I mean, it got weird because of all the injuries, but nonetheless, did you see how happy the 49ers starters were when Jimmy came back in the game? I don't know. It's nuts. No one said Purdy is awesome. At most, coaches and fans have said Purdy deserves to start for the 49ers. Nobody knows if Purdy is the long-term solution. He certainly looks like it. And I think after going 8-0, yeah, he's probably earned the job at this point. While white, Purdy is 8-0 in games that he has not started and finished. He started and finished is what it should say. He's performed well in each of his starts. On Sunday, he recorded the highest QBR in the NFL in Week 1. Purdy is accurate, quick on his feet, smart with the ball, executes the offense efficiently. Okay, a couple of things here. He's smart with the ball, he's accurate, and he executes the offense efficiently. Trey Lance couldn't do any of that, okay? He wasn't even close to doing any of that at all. It's crazy. There would be no QB controversy in the media if racial dynamics weren't at play, but they are. They are anytime a team chooses a white person over a black person. Unemployed carnival barkers like Bomani Jones are always there to exploit the situation. Regarding Lance, he didn't lose his job because of lack of patience for black quarterbacks. He lost his job, exactly what I said. The 49ers have a Super Bowl roster, and Super Bowl rosters don't afford QBs the same patience as losing teams. And now, I'm going to be real, the actual salaries that are used in all of this when it comes to drafting quarterbacks at the beginning of the draft, and I'm already going too long, so I'm just going to flip back, allows you to move off of a quarterback after 2 years. It doesn't kill your franchise anymore. It's not Sam Bradford. All right? You draft a quarterback at the top of the draft. He doesn't work out. Ryan Leaf, all of these guys that had these monster rookie contracts. Now you know if a QB can't play after 2 years, he's gone. Excuse me, could we use this same? What's the dynamic for Josh Rosen? Because did the Cardinals not move off of Josh Rosen to take Kyler Murray, who was a black quarterback? Just wondering. I mean, are we not calling black privilege here? Oh, we're not. By the way, he probably ultimately is not going to start long term. He'll bounce around a few more places, and then Kyler Murray will be gone. That hasn't worked out too well either. Caleb Williams is already on the clock for the Cardinals. Wow. I saw that. I'm not even going to go through the rest of the article because obviously you guys know how I feel. This is not, as a Niners fan, this drives me nuts. I mean, Purdy's accurate. He had a slew of starts. Parcells. He won a bunch of games. Parcells. Came from a big-time school, but not such a big-time school where all of his playmakers on offense dominated everybody. Another check mark. All right, a lot of times these big-time quarterbacks come out of places like Ohio State with these unbelievable wide receivers, and they're wide-ass open. Purdy didn't have that luxury, and he faced real peril, but he played games. Trey Lance, he played one season and one exhibitionist-like game in COVID. And, by the way, he threw a fit and got himself in a worse situation in Dallas because Cooper Rush is better than Trey Lance. Every day of the week and twice on Sunday. It's nuts. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.